Warning, this video will contain spoilers for Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Hello, my name is Soren Allen, and today I want to talk about the soundtrack of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield are currently the 5th best-selling Nintendo Switch titles as of September 30th, 2020, and are the first games in the entire Pokemon core series that do not directly credit Junichi Masuda for sound design. Masuda is responsible for so many of the iconic tracks throughout the main series, including the title theme first heard in Pokemon Red version and Pokemon Green version. However, I did notice that as of the release of version 1.3.0 of Sword and Shield, Masuda is credited under sound design, so I'm assuming he worked on some of the soundtrack for the Crown Tundra. However, he is not credited for the base game. The composers who are credited for Sword and Shield are no joke. Composer Go Ichinose has worked with the series since Pokemon Gold version and Pokemon Silver version, and composer Minako Adachi since Black version and White version. Additional music was composed by Keita Okamoto and Toby Fox, the latter of which only composed one track. Game Freak has been releasing what are called Super Music Collections for each of the core series games, containing the entire game's soundtrack. However, at the time I am recording this, the Super Music Collection for Pokemon Sword and Shield has still not been released, likely so that when it is, it will include the soundtrack for the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra expansion pass locations. So without further ado, let's begin. One thing that I noticed while playing through Pokemon Shield was the use of repeated melodic material and leitmotif throughout the game's soundtrack. The word leitmotif is thrown around a lot in the world of film score and video game soundtracks, so let's break down this definition a little bit. According to the Oxford Dictionary of Music, a leitmotif is, quote, a theme or other coherent musical idea, clearly defined so as to retain its identity if modified on subsequent appearances, whose purpose is to represent or symbolize a person, object, place, idea, state of mind, supernatural force, or any other ingredient in a dramatic work. This definition is a bit wordy, so let's dig into it so I can really understand what a leitmotif is. According to this definition, for something to be classified as a leitmotif, it requires 3 things. 1. It must be a coherent musical idea, such as a short melody. 2. It must be identifiable when it returns. 3. It must represent some non-musical element, such as a person, object, or idea. The third of these is crucial because this requirement is what distinguishes a leitmotif from any other repeated melodic material. A leitmotif must represent some specific thing. If you look at any one of Johann Sebastian Bach's fugues, you will clearly see melodic subjects being repeated throughout. However, because these subjects do not represent some person, place, thing, or idea, they are not considered to be leitmotifs. So what exactly are we going to be looking at today? I will be looking at a total of 15 melodic motifs presented throughout the soundtrack of the base game and post-game of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. I will only be looking at motifs that are original to these games, not any returning motifs from past main series games, with 2 exceptions which I'll get to shortly. I will be locating every instance of these melodic ideas throughout the game's story and explaining how they contribute to the plot. This is the first of 2 returning themes that I will be talking about. This music has appeared over every main series title screen since Red and Green. And Sword and Shield are no exception. There's not much else to say about this one, except for the fact that it appears briefly in the trainer battle music, like Sun and Moon. The trainer battle music in Sword and Shield is one of my personal favorite tracks in the game. But did you know that it also appears in a few of the Trainer's Eyes Meet tracks? This music that begins your adventure in Postwick is quaint and pleasant, as many of the starting town themes tend to be. The Postwick theme is featured heavily at the beginning of the game, notably on Route 1, and in Turfield. Another section of the Postwick theme can also be heard in the railway station, the Southern Wild area, on Route 3, and even on Route 10 approaching Winden. The music in the southern part of the wild area is used in a few places throughout the Galar region, including the railway station, and Route 3. As the southern wild area music is used on Route 3, the northern wild area music is used on Route 6. This theme clearly represents your rival Hop, and is the first theme to represent a character that we've seen throughout the game. This theme appears in every place you would expect it to, including Hop's 2 battle themes. Another section of Hop's theme also appears when you speak to the champion of the Galar region, Leon. The music is likely reused here because Leon and Hop are brothers and have a remarkably close relationship. The music of the game is structured to further convey this relationship. But Hop isn't your only rival in Sword and Shield. Your other rivals pose as formidable challenges throughout your journey, and they each have their own theme as well. Marnie's theme appears throughout each of her encounters and in both of her battle themes. Likewise, Bede has his own theme as well. The gym challengers aren't the only ones to get themes though. Chairman Rose brings his own music. Interestingly, I could not find this theme in Chairman Rose's battle music, but rather I found it in Oleana's. The second of the two returning themes that I wanted to discuss in this video is the Hall of Fame theme, returning from Pokemon Red and Green. This theme is incredibly crucial to the construction of the game's overall soundtrack and is inescapable as you progress through the Galar region, first appearing on the title screen. Any veteran Pokemon player will likely recognize this theme from Hall of Fame's past, as it serves a very important purpose in your path to become the champion. From the very first time you boot up the game, and every time after, the game is telling you what your goal is, to become the champion of the Galar region. You are introduced to Champion Leon almost immediately after pressing start, and you take on the gym challenge to take his title. The track then again appears in the gym lobbies. Take special notice to how the composers interweave the Pokemon gym theme with the Hall of Fame theme. Although the Galar region does not have a physical Hall of Fame like the other regions, its theme heavily permeates the end of the game. But before you have the chance to become the champion, the fate of the Galar region is thrust into your hands as the nefarious Chairman Rose brings the darkest day. This leitmotif is present throughout each scene concerning the darkest day and Eternatus. And even makes an appearance in the first two phases of Eternatus' battle theme. This theme is one that I can't quite place my finger on. While the first two phases of the Eternatus battle music are dominated by the Darkest Day leitmotif, the third takes on a much different character. Now this may be just a coincidence, but I swear this exact theme appears in Leon's theme. I have no idea what the correlation is here, as Leon is not part of this final battle. Hop is. I mentioned earlier that Leon's and Hop's themes share similar leitmotifs, but this is one that is absent from Hop's theme. I'm still not quite sure what the significance of this musical idea is. This peaceful track is heard upon entering the Slumbering Weald west of Postwick near the start of the game. This music appears nearly every time Zacian and Zamazenta have any relevance to the story. Interestingly, during parts of this, Zacian and Zamazenta being the kings of Galar has not yet been revealed to the player yet, So, this slumbering weald theme serves a little bit of foreshadowing as to who these kings really are. Although, let's be real, Zacian and Zamazenta are on the box art, so this reveal is more for narrative construction than to be a surprise to the player. The music also plays after defeating Eternatus with the kings by your side. And, of course, in the post-game when battling Zacian or Zamazenta. Another leitmotif very closely follows the slumbering weald, one that sounds like it's being sung by the dogs themselves. This music appears in both battles with Zacian or Zamazenta. And during the battle with Eternatus, you can faintly hear it a few times in the background, and another howl sounds once the battle is over. When Bede destroys the Stow-on-Side mural, and of course, when Zacian and Zamazenta are encountered at the Slumbering Weald Shrine. And now, we have my favorite leitmotif in the game. Though this only appears in 5 locations, this leitmotif is what inspired me to make this video and search for other melodic material throughout the games. Here it is as it appears in Wedgehurst. It is later heard again in Motostoke. In Winden, battling Eternatus, and finally, battling Leon. It took me some time to identify what this leitmotif represents. At first glance, its appearances do not seem to correlate. I finally concluded that this leitmotif represents you, the player. It is with you when you begin your journey in Wedgehurst, when you enter the gym challenge in Motostoke, when you make your way all the way north of the Galar region to Winden, when you battle Eternatus and stop the Darkest Day, and when you're battling the champion Leon. This theme doesn't represent Hop, Leon, the Galar region, or any of the legendary Pokemon. It is uniquely yours. And that is why I have chosen to call this leitmotif Sword and Shield. Thanks for watching.